What's going on, my eaters? It's your boy Chef Drew, aka Chef, aka Big Drew, aka y'all. We at the house today. We're gonna be grilling on something. It's a sunny day. I'm so excited. I'm gonna show you something that I learned a few months ago. But before we get into that, please make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things that you need to do to help us keep bringing you this great content. Y'all, let's go. All right, y'all, listen. Today, I'm gonna be showing you how to make what I call Tina Cannon's party ribs. Listen, a couple months ago, I had the opportunity to go cook a whole hog with Tina Cannon, celebrity chef, pit master extraordinaire. I'm fortunate enough to call her a friend. She lives here locally with me. And I went and learned she taught me how to cook a whole hog. Well, while I was there, Tina made us lunch or dinner. She made us dinner one evening and she taught me this dish. Y'all, we have these ribs, best baby back ribs I've ever had. I've been cooking them ever since. My family loves them. My baby's calling them good bones. I'm excited to show them to you. So what today is actually I have a catering gig. Somebody ordered some ribs for me, but they wanted them hot. They want them prepared. You know, in my main business, I sell heat and serve barbecue. So I typically, unless it's a catering event, I'm selling frozen barbecue. But these cats, they wanted it hot, ready to go. So I said, you know what? This is a great way to show my eaters this wonderful recipe that Tina showed me. Tina, thank you so much. So this is what we're gonna do. Y'all gonna help me get ready for my catering gig. We're gonna cook Tina Cannon's party ribs, and this is what it is. We're gonna be on the old school Weber today. I think in 2008, I was opening a restaurant, and when I was opening that restaurant, I wanted to put authentic jerk chicken on the menu. And you can only do that with a real grill. And so I bought a Weber grill. I spent $80, $70 for this Weber grill. It's actually right here behind me. I still got it. And you know, I learned how that was probably what I would say my start in live fire and charcoal cooking. But everyone knows the Weber grill. They've been around forever. Y'all, they just work great. They're inexpensive. If you want a grill and you want something that works and is functional and it'll get the job done and it'll never let you down, make sure you have a Weber grill in your arsenal. I got two. Simple construction. You have the grill, put the charcoal in it, put your grate on, and we cooking, y'all. So I'm gonna use that to cook these ribs today. Also, whenever y'all are cooking on a grill, make sure you set yourself up. The purpose of a grill is to do typically hot and fast cooking. Now, don't get me wrong, you can adapt these grills and do low, slow cooks, but grilling hot and fast. So when you're cooking hot and fast, you want to make sure that you have everything you need, all your mise en place here ready. For me, typically what that looks like is I have my grill heated up, ready to go. I have whatever I'm gonna put, whatever container I'm gonna put the finished product in. I have that nearby. I have a pair of tongs. This, I'm gonna put the finished ribs because this is a catering order. I'm gonna put them in this aluminum pan. Gloves, you know we're cooking raw meat. Pan spray, listen, anytime you're using a charcoal grill or a grill period, you wanna make sure you lubricate your grill surface however you do it. Today we're gonna use some Pam. You can use lard, you can use tallow, vegetable oil, whatever it is, but you wanna make sure you have lubrication for your grill surface. I also say grill brush. You wanna make sure your grill surface is clean. And then whatever vegetables, whatever protein you're cooking, we're gonna have that as well. These are baby back ribs. I've cut these individual bones, season them up, and let them marinate overnight. So that's what we're cooking. All right, y'all, I also forgot, whenever you out here grilling, y'all, whenever you are out here grilling, make sure you have yourself a libation, a drink, something to keep you hydrated. It's hot. you know, the thing just sucking the moisture out of your body, keep you a cup of water. Or if you drink other stuff, keep you what you keep you, but make sure you have some hydration for you. Okay. So y'all, this is how we're gonna get into this. We have the grill ready, it's burning up. We're gonna do zone cooking. One side of my grill, I have the charcoal piled up. That's gonna be the hot side. We're gonna get a sear there going, give the ribs some color. Gotta pay attention to it because it is very hot. There's sugar on these ribs. So you wanna make sure, you know, you get that color, you get that caramelization, but you do not want things to burn. Burning is bad, caramelization is good. And then the other side of the grill is what I call the cooking side, the tenderizing side, the holding side. There's no charcoals there. It's just ambient heat. And that's where you let the things cook and keep warm and so on and so forth. The reason I love this recipe, y'all, other than the fact that they just tasted good. Tina, when she made hers, man, they're just phenomenal. She got this little SPG, salt, pepper, garlic thing going on that thing. Y'all, they were phenomenal. But the reason I like these ribs is when I'm cooking my barbecue on my other rigs, my offsets, or if I'm cooking them by the slab, everybody know to cook some ribs, it take 2-3 hours. Everybody know that, sometimes 4. But y'all, we can make these party ribs in an hour, hour and a half, y'all. We eating some ribs. You can get me, I call it my fat boy on. Everyone love a rib. Anyway, so I got the grill going, hot side, cooler side. We're gonna sear these things up first. You wanna be careful because you're gonna have to lubricate the side of the grill. Like I said, spray it so the things don't stick. Because it's so hot now, you gotta watch the flare up. You don't wanna get singed up. Sometimes it gets singed, be careful. So bear with me. Right now the coals are all piled up, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shake the grill a little bit. That's gonna spread the coals out a little bit more so the heat is not as intense in one spot. And then we're gonna start putting the ribs on. If you're scared of fire, y'all, do not be out here charcoal grilling, I'm telling you. Woo. It don't take much, y'all. You see, it'll get you. You want to be able to hold your hand over the fire, to me, like 4 or 5 seconds. Other than that, you're gonna burn yourself. I don't want to burn myself. I got the gloves on. Let's move those around again. You see that, Joe? And y'all, we're just gonna start browning them up. We're gonna just start browning them up. When you put them on the grill, you hear that sizzle. Just remember, you want them to get color, but you don't want them to burn up. I try to put mine kind of around the edges. Okay, so the ribs are on. I can already smell them. They smell great. On these, y'all, I got cane sugar, granulated garlic, kosher salt, black pepper. Right now, we're giving them some color, y'all. So here, remember I said it's cooking hot and fast. I always tell y'all, watch your fire, check the temperature. So already, when I'm using all my senses, I'm listening to how fast it's sizzling. So it gives me an idea of how quick the meat is cooking. I'm also smelling. I don't want to smell anything that smells burnt. And then what you start doing is you want to give your stuff checks. Check the meat, especially the meat that you see is over the hottest parts, because that's what's going to burn the fastest. Yeah, see y'all, it's already starting to caramelize, get some color. Let the meat talk to you. Let it tell you what it needs, what it's doing. What we're doing here is literally, y'all, this isn't the cooking. This is the color, putting color, making the meat look attractive part. No one likes bland looking meat, white meat or whatever. So we're just trying to give it some color. You see the grill marks on it. Y'all see this is happening real quick. You just want to get some grill marks because here in the second part of the cooking process, just being in here, think of it like an oven. The meat is already warmed up. It's already started to change color. The sugars in the meat are already starting to caramelize. And so once we take the meat from off the hottest part of the grill and put it in the cooler section, that cooking is still going to continue and allow more color, that awesome barbecue color that we all know and love, to start coming in as well. So now, y'all, everything is pretty much starting to get colored up. So what I'm gonna start doing now is looking at those final, giving it that fat, those final moments to brown up and seal the flavors in, seal the natural juices of the meat in, and then I'm gonna start moving the brown seared ribs to the cooler side so we can start the cooking and what I call the cooking and the tenderizing process. If you don't allow ribs to tenderize and cook for a little bit of time, they'll be tough. You can't get the meat off the bone. The goal for these is by the time we get done, we want a nice pull off the bone. All right, y'all. The magic is happening. Remember, like I said, we don't want to burn nothing up. We just want to give some good color. And trust me, even though this is a quick cook, that smoky barbecuing flavor is definitely getting into the meat. Now, what I'm gonna do, y'all, because you know I like that hickory and that oak flavor, once I sear this meat, I'm gonna go get some of my barbecue cooking wood and put a piece or two on the coal, so when I put the lid on, it's gonna get that hickory, oaky sweetness that I love for Pink's Barbecue. And y'all, we just letting them dance until we see that color that we like. You know, that's the personal thing about this barbecue. Some people like it darker, crispier. Some people like it a little less. They just want a little bit of that look with the smoke on it. Me, y'all, I kind of like what that textbook picture piece of barbecue that when you think a good piece of barbecue, those dark tones, them dark marks, the caramelization and char, that's what I like, and that's what I go for. Because when you get that look, that color, and those textures, but then the rib is tender and succulent, that's when you cook it with hot grease. That's when it's money, and that's what I always go for when I cook my barbecue. Move these last few pieces that are browning to the cooler side. Put a little bit of wood on this thing. We're gonna cover it up and let it ride on into glory. Next time you see these ribs, they will be party ribs. They're gonna taste spectacular. I'm super excited, y'all. I ain't gonna hold you. You have to be attentive to these. These ain't something you can put on the grill at this point and walk away and not think about them or lose track of time. If you do that, you'll ruin your food. Now listen, y'all, another thing that I'm doing, I don't know if you can see this, but the hot side of the grill is here. The cool side is here. If you think of a line on the grill, here's a line, hot side, cool side. What I do is I'm taking my bigger ribs, the bigger pieces of meat, as I'm putting them on the cool side. Those are the pieces that are gonna need a little bit more time to tenderize. So when I'm stacking them over here, it may look random, but I'm taking the bigger ribs, the meatier ribs that are gonna need a little bit more heat to really tenderize. I put them closest to the hot side of the grill. Also, if it wasn't ribs like this and it was just like a piece of meat, you'd want to put the bone side or the thicker side of the meat closest to the heat, because those pieces of meat can bear that intense heat a lot more than, say, like a little piece like this. Like I said, man, this is active cooking here, yo. A little bit of, you gotta think about everything. That's the difference between your barbecue being good and your barbecue being great. Okay, y'all, so we have the ribs over here, bigger pieces closest to the fire. I love this little grate here because it can actually lift up. Great engineering, Weber. So I don't know if Weber invented this type of grate or whatever, but this is a Weber grill. That's a Weber grate. Now it just allows me to add more coal or add wood without having to lift up the grate like you used to have to do in the old days. So I just happen to have some wood right here, y'all. I use hickory and oak. So what I'm gonna do is take a piece or two and put down there on the coals. Quickly, y'all, that right there is gonna start creating more smoke. You probably see that. I want that smoke flavor in the meat. Also, what is happening is that that wood is catching on fire as well, and that's gonna spike the temperature up a little bit to help once I put the lid on, to help increase that temperature to help tenderize the meat. So what I want to do is, I want the meat to smoke, y'all, but I don't want the heat to keep on going too high. So I have my lid here, my Weber lid. I'm gonna open the vents all the way right now to keep the oxygen flowing through. Boom. So we got the ribs on. They're tenderizing. We got the vent fully open. I want the fire not raging, but I do want it as hot as possible. The vents on the bottom of the grill are opening. And y'all, the next time we see these ribs, I might check them once, we'll see. But the next time we see these ribs, man, we're gonna be packing them up to take them to a customer. This should typically take 30, 40 minutes. But really, yo, I always make sure I just take one of the little bones and give it a little nibble. If it feels tender to you, it's real kind of personal sometimes. I like mine a nice medium tenderness with a bite on it. That's how Tina showed us. You know, it's not gonna be like your traditional smoked rib where it like pulls off the bone. It will have some bite on it, but it's definitely edible and is a great, great way to cook some barbecue ribs on the fly. Y'all, give us a minute. All right, y'all, so listen, just a little update what's going on here. I don't know if you can see it. If you notice, before our little intermission, there was a lot of white smoke coming out of the kettle grill. When you're burning wood, that was because I had just put a fresh piece of wood on the coals and the wood was igniting, and that was the impurities. That white smoke is caused by the impurities of the wood burning out. You don't want that white smoke coming out of your grill or your smoker ever. Can also be called dirty smoke. Too much of it can make your food taste saccharine and just that bad, bitter, smoky taste. What you want clean smoke, clear, wispy at most smoke. You know, there should be wood on your smoker or your grill, but you don't necessarily have to see the smoke. You want it to be clear, clean. Trust me, the barbecue will still taste smoky. So what we're doing now is we're gonna check them, see where the ribs are. These party ribs have been on for about 10, 15 minutes at this point. Is that right, Joe? About 10, 15 minutes. So let's see what they look like, all right? Also, cooking is an engaging activity. So when I come out here, some of the things that I'm feeling and thinking about right now are I'm standing close to the grill. I'm trying to kind of feel and taking notice of the heat coming off of the grill. That gives me an idea of how fast these ribs are cooking. Also, y'all, use touch. I'm gonna touch the grill. To me, you should be able to touch the grill, but not keep your hand on it. So if you see me touching the grill, this grill is hot, y'all, but I can touch it. Not more than that, but I can definitely touch it. You want to do it too much. To me, that's a good sign of it's at the temperature I want. If you want to get real specific, you could put a little thermometer on the grate and play with the dampers and get that temperature dialed in even more. Me, I'm not slow smoking anything. I want these things to cook hot and fast, so I don't have to be that particular. I'll use my hand and my other senses. So here we go. Boy! Joe, what that look like? Do y'all see that?
Looks like money.
Do y'all see that? So now in there, like I said, y'all, it's still hot in here. The sugars in the meat and in the rub are caramelizing. That's what's giving it that great color, reddish brown color with some charred tones. It smells great. So what I want to do now is just kind of feel the meat. You know, you want to make sure things aren't getting too charred, especially like I said, these ones that are closest to the fire. What'll also happen is, as you can see, when you take the lid off, the oxygen gets flowing, that wood will catch some more and it'll start burning a little bit. That's gonna give the grill a little temperature spike as we put the lid back on and let these things finish to cook before we pan them up. Taking notice of all the pieces, maybe give them a little rotation. At this point, the fire has died down a little bit, so it's not as crazy hot. Some of these smaller pieces in the back, you can move a little bit closer to the fire. Again, you want to make sure that by the time you take these off, they're tender. You don't want them to be tough. And the way that's going to happen is letting them cook. Also, I'm cooking these for somebody, and so someone paid their money for these. I want to make sure that when they get them, they have an enjoyable experience. They're not burnt, but they're not tough either. All right, y'all, so the ribs have been on the the grill for about 30 minutes at this point. It's still hot to the touch. You can touch it, but you don't want to leave your hand there. So that's good. I know it's plenty hot. They've been cooking this whole time. Let's see how they look. Now that pink, redishy barbecue color is starting to set in on these things. If you look right here, Joe, can you show right here? You see that bone starting to poke out, y'all? When you see them bones starting to protrude, that's a good sign. Put that there. We want to make sure still nothing's burning. Also, another thing I'm looking for is I'm making sure the ribs themselves aren't drying out. Because they're smaller pieces of meat, you want to always watch your fire, watch your temperature. Make sure your meat, when people eat this stuff, you don't want it to be dry. You still want it to be moist and succulent. So as I'm turning them, I'm not just turning them and moving them, I'm checking how moist they feel. All right, y'all, I think these ribs are about done. We're about to do the final reveal. I'm gonna take this lid off, see where we're at. Hopefully we got some great color still. Things are moist, doing what they're supposed to do. Bones is poking out more. Yeah, the grill is definitely cooling down like you wanted to. I can hold my hand there a little bit longer, but it is still hot. You don't want to leave your hand there. So what we're gonna do is, like I said, always have everything you need ready. We're gonna spray this pan that they're going in. All right, we're gonna take this lid off. Wow, we got more bones poking out. They look great. And y'all, guess what? I guarantee my customers 12 bones for a slab of ribs. And by the looks of it, it's a little bit more than 12 bones here. So guess what that means? We get to taste one. So what I'm gonna do is, sometimes I feel like the smaller bones are the ones that, you know, can be a little bit harder to tenderize. So I'm gonna taste one of the smaller ones, and I'm pretty sure if the smaller one is good, then the other one's gonna be good too. Here's one right here. If you look, y'all, it feels good. It feels nice and tender. All right, let's taste these, y'all. Y'all, all day. You get that smokiness. You got, you can see the pink in the meat. You can taste that flavor from the rub. The texture is great. They don't come just slide off the bone. They got a little bit of bite to them. Y'all, these are Tina Cannon's party ribs. They taste stupendous. If you wanted to at this point, you could hit them with a little bit of salt and pepper, a little bit more rub, give it one more layer of flavor. But to me, I think these things are great. So Now that I think they're great, I know they're ready. We're gonna take these. Don't burn yourself. I'm gonna rest this partially on the grill, so as I put these ribs in there, I don't burn myself. These people are gonna have a good lunch today, Joe. And y'all, we have Tina Cannon's Party Baby Back Ribs. We cook these in like an hour, y'all. You take them, you buy the slab, cut them down to the individual bones, season them how you want to season with your favorite rub, and then I showed y'all the rest. And in an hour, you can have smoky, tender, beautiful baby back ribs for you and your guests to enjoy. Now, while I talk to you a little bit, I'm gonna put these here, keep them warm. You don't want to do all that work and then let the stuff turn cold on you. But y'all, listen, you know, here, we always want to try to educate you, empower you, excite you. When I think about Tina Cannon's Party Ribs, the thing that stands out the most to me, other than the fact that they look and taste great, is that I've been doing barbecue for a long time. And when I spent that weekend with Tina, I cook a lot of ribs, y'all, on a weekly basis. But when I don't know why, I had never thought about it. I had never seen it done before. But when I spent that weekend with Tina, she showed me a new way to do something that I've already been doing. And y'all, we can always add that and do that in our businesses. Always be open and willing to learn something new, something different. There's always somebody who came before you who can impart something into you that could ultimately make what you do, whatever it is. I do food, but whatever you do, better and more appealing. And who knows, you might even find something that you like more than you've already traditionally been done. I love my ribs. It's one of my favorite things to cook. Tina showed me a way to do them differently that I had never done before, and I absolutely love. And now I get to take that knowledge and provide it to you and provide it to my other customers. So y'all, thank you so much for being with us today, watching us make these party ribs. You do it yourself. Hit the comments. Let me know what you think about them. Please, as always, remember to like, subscribe, do all the things you need to do to help us continue to bring you this content. Also, always remember our Homeboys podcast, Last Night's Coffee with Chuck and John, available on all podcast platforms. Great guys, great stories and content. Check them out. And until then, y'all, we are gone.